All right. So what I'm going to do is go to my Google Chrome.
Hello.
And then I'm going to show you what it's going to look like when you first get an invitation to log into a class. So you'll get a link that you click on most likely, and then it's going to ask you to create your login. So you should use your ITU email and then create your own password to log in for the class. The other thing I want to show you is that what are called blueprints, which are basically the templates for the classes in the fall, will look something like this. So this is a template for the weekend class in the fall trimester. And there's a couple of things that we would like you to do when you're starting your class. This is your home page that I'm looking at. And one of the things we want you to do is to place your course code here in the upper left of the home page. So you would edit or hit the edit button. And then whatever your course is, you're going to type it in here. Why is my cap not working? Okay, so when I hit that edit button, I'm in something called the, what's it called? The
editor?
Yeah, I'm in the editor, sorry. So the other thing you should do on this screen, your home page, is to type in the room number for your course and what the dates of the sessions are for your class. And Marcos has that information. We will be emailing that to you. You used to have that on EMS, and now we want you to enter it in on the homepage of your class. This homepage also is a place where you can add a welcome to your students. You can add other things that you might want them to know about the course. So I'm more or less done editing this page. I'm going to hit the save button. Now, other things that you want to know about is when you're in, my screen looks really big. When you are in the screen, what happened to my other options over here? You know, where it talks about student view, other things like that?
You have to go to home page.
Oh, see, we're not in the home page. Okay. When you go to your home page, you will look on the right-hand side, and you'll see some options on the right-hand side. One is that here you could publish this page and publish your course on the right side. If I hit that, then the button turns green. I do that when I'm ready for students to see everything that I have put into my course. Also, from this side of the page, you'll see something called a student view. That's a really good way for you to click on this button and see what it is that the student might see in any particular page. When you click on the student view, you'll see this pink color at the bottom. Now I can't see that very well. You'll see this pink view at the bottom, and it'll tell you that you're currently logged into the student view. And if you want to exit out of it, you can hit leave student view. But in many cases, like if you want to see what students might see when it comes to submitting assignments, or you want to see whatever it is on the screen that a student might see, it's in your home page, and it's on the right-hand side. Now, the other thing is that the templates are set up, as you saw, where we went into that one screen, but if you hit home on the upper left-hand side of the screen, you can actually see a button over here that says choose home. So you need to actively tell it if this is what you want your students to be looking at when they log into the screen or when they log into the class. Now, other things that we want faculty to know about have to do with your settings. So if you see over on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see this account navigation button. You click on that, and you need to check your settings. Most of the classes, when they're set up, will be set up to default to Pacific time. If for some reason you taught last trimester and in the pilot term and you're teaching again in the fall, and you had some problems with students being on a different time zone than you, you go into your settings, you can edit the settings, and you can change whatever time zone your system is set to. For faculty that are new, your time zones will be set to Pacific time and you shouldn't have that problem. Okay. So I want to go back to this class that we were looking at, which was the template for a weekend class. And what you'll see is that we've set the class up with certain features. So if I go to my modules page on the left side, you'll see that a weekend class has things like how to get started. This is really for you, how to customize pictures or banners. For you, there's some videos if you want to review how to use Canvas. They're here in About Canvas. But also you'll see these things are locked as part of the template. You'll see resources for students. So if you hit on helpful, I think it's helpful to hit tips. You'll see some links. And you'll also see some student videos that are just a few minutes long, maybe between 2 to 6 minutes, that'll show you certain things that students should know. If we go back to the first one, which is getting started for students, there's a lot of videos there. There's an overview, there's assignments, there's discussions, quizzes. This is for students to reference how to use Canvas. Now, the other thing that we're doing as a department is we're going to have a video that we're putting together that's kind of similar to what I'm doing right now, that gives overviews of the using Canvas from the student point of view, logging in, etc. Okay, so for any class, one of the first things you want to start with is setting up a file. You can't really create assignments, you can't really access resources unless
Hey,
you,
Patty,
as a faculty member, have
can you guys hear me?
files and loaded files into your system. So am I forgetting anything you want me to talk about now, or shall we go to files? Okay, so on the left-hand side, we're going to click to files.
Patty? Sorry, this is
I have to move this little guy over. Maybe we'll move him over here. And so one of the things you want to do when you go into this page is you need to create folders for different items that you want to have contained in your Canvas class that you can access when you're setting up your modules or your class later on. So you might want to have a folder that's like week 1 presentations. And I've also, someone has a question. I need to go over here.
I have a question.
Please request that all attendees mute their mics. Okay.
Are the 4 classes are loaded already or not yet?
You set up your folders that you would need for an individual week of your class. And I heard this from Dr. Jahan when we were first starting. So what I did was, for a particular class that I've created, I actually put together different folders for the class. And I was teaching an online class this summer. And so I set up the 7 weeks of my class in different folders. So I can click on a particular week of my class and see all the different items I need to load in as files. And so I just set up a week 1 resources folder. And if I click on that, I can upload some items from my week 1 folder on my computer. So if I go to my class and I go to one of the folders, week 1, I can upload a resource, which is my e-learning course expectations. And then it's here in the resources. And maybe I want to upload my, my bio, or I want to upload maybe the first case study that we used during week 1. Then I've set up my week 1 resources. And then later on, when I'm going back to actually create some of my modules for my week 1 class, I can refer to these files. Anything else that I should add?
No, just the fact that these, make sure that these are all green.
Oh, okay, thank you. So this is a real, this is one of those tidbits that you need to know about. When you look at your resources that you've just uploaded, you want them to be green. You want them to have a check mark here. That means that they're published. Because otherwise, if they're not published, can I unpublish them?
Yes,
here?
you can.
I could unpublish this. Then you'll see that this particular item, this e-learning course expectations file, is not published. So later on, if I upload it into an assignment or some sort of a discussion, and I create the discussion and I even publish the discussion, later on you'll get a message from your students that says, that particular resource is locked. That's the phrase that they use. And that happened to me this term, where I had something that I had created, but for some reason I did not publish it.
And you may want to mention that a good way to check that is use that student view.
And a good way to check that is to use the student view that we looked at from our home page. So then you would go to your home page, you would click on student view, then you would go to your particular assignment, and when you're working on, when you click into the assignment, you would see if the student could even see the resources that you had loaded up for that particular assignment. Okay, so before I get into creating assignments, I want to do one other thing, and that is just to say that typically for each class, you want to create a syllabus, and you want to load it up on a syllabus page. So this template actually doesn't have anything filled in yet, but I could edit this page, and I could either take some of the syllabus information and put it in here, or I could actually click on my files that I just uploaded and put the link for the syllabus into this particular page and save it. Another page that's important for you to know about is from your home page. You look at the bottom and you'll see, again, we can't see this. To get this out of the way.
You can just minimize that, because if you don't want to see.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So from your home page, you'll see at the bottom of the home page, and this is in every class, you'll see something that's called an overview, about your instructor, course Q&A, and learning modules. So students can navigate to all the modules for your class from this home page. They can navigate to a course Q&A, which is basically just like a discussion that you set up that's general about the class. But one of the things that's like a minimum setup for any of your classes is the bio about you. So on the instructor page, you can edit this. You can add in a photograph. You can copy and paste text in here that tells the student about yourself. And one of the things you definitely want to do is you want to put in your contact information and other things that you want students to see about yourself so that they could contact you. And you have a better policy for this, but I try to put my email in as many places as possible, on the home page and the syllabus page and other things. Okay. So if we go to modules, you saw earlier on this page that there was a getting started for students. We saw the videos. You also will have this information here in your particular blueprint that has a course overview page about your instructor again, and these things are linked from that first home page that we looked at. But let's say you're teaching a weekend class. The template has 6 different days that we've set up for you to fill and put in information about your class. Now, one of the things about it is that these modules that are set up have a lot of different pages to them. You can keep all these different pages, or you can remove some of this content. If you're teaching an online class, An overview and to-do list page is a really great idea. It's kind of like, here's what's happening this week in your class. Presentation and lecture notes that are videos or reading or other things, those are great things to have, including resources, which are some of the things we just uploaded, discussions, assignments, quizzes, and a final section that's like, here's what we did and here's what we're doing next week. Those are fine, but maybe in a weekday or a weekend course, you don't want that much content. So let me look over here. Some of these items you can actually remove if you don't want them in your module. If you want them in your module, then you would basically click on the content and you can edit it by putting in whatever it is that you want to do in this particular page. Anything else you want to add?
Oh, this is good.
Let's say that you want to create an assignment or a discussion. So I can go back to my modules. I can go back to this very first page, and I might want to create some resources for my first week of class. So I hit edit here, and it puts you into what's called a rich content editor. That's what I couldn't remember before. So for this particular page, you might want to say resources, module 1, or resources for good class participation. Whatever it is that you want to call it, you can do that. And then you can say, please refer to the course discussion expectations document and read it, week 1. And then what you can do is you can click over here on the files that we just uploaded. I can go to that particular folder that I created, and I can click on the document, and it puts it into my assignment or my resources page. You could do the same thing with, if week 1 you had your particular video lecture there, you could add that into this page. So that's why it's really great to have your folder set up first with the weeks and the contents sort of divided, and then you first start in under files, and you add files in, and then you can access them when you're creating some sort of an assignment. So it looks like I have someone else that is, no, I guess not. Back to my module, and let's say I want to create an assignment. So we've got the assignments preloaded, so there would be, I think, 1 per week. So you could actually create an assignment. You can say, you could make an assignment for week 1, and then you could give some instructions here. This assignment, you read the document and answer the questions at the bottom. At the bottom, or the last page of the case, okay? And then again, I could say that a good answer is at least 5 to 6 sentences, or something like that, okay? However you want to finish defining your assignments. And again, you can click over here, and you can see under week 1 resources, my Netflix case is right here, so I might want to add my Netflix case here, or I could add it up here at the beginning of the case, or something like that, beginning of the assignment. Now, the other thing you want to do is you want to think about how many points you would assign, and of course, you guys all know how many points you assign to different items. You can set up groups for your assignments, but we're not going to do that today. You can define the type of submission that you want. If you want a paper submission in class, or like what I like to do is have students upload whatever document they would contribute for completing the assignment, but you can also have them upload different options, links or recordings. If you had a signature assignment that's a group project, you can click that. You can do some other items here. I don't actually assign things as group assignments, though. I think there's some issues with that in terms of how you do the grading. So we might talk about that in the next session that we do. You can assign this to everyone in the class. You give the due date. So let's say we need this to be completed by August 25th. You can have it at 11:59 as your due date, and it can be open from today at 6 p.m. And then you can again say that it's due August 25th at 11:59, and you can save it. You can also save it and publish, but if you're creating a whole week's worth of material, I don't publish things until I'm done with everything. Publishing indicates that the students can see what you just posted or what you just published. So you save it. Maybe for your module you want to include some discussions. So you can, you could create a discussion. Again, you would edit it. What I would suggest you do too is kind of get used to what all the different items are here in the rich content editor, because if you're creating a discussion, you can actually like click on this Vimeo link. You can maybe find some sort of a short video that relates to, so we did a Netflix case study, but maybe you want like to find some kind of video. You're not going to always find content, but sometimes you do. And it usually says it's not finding the results, and then later on it does find them, but yeah, there we go. So let's say maybe you want to, this is an hour and 21 minutes. I don't want that, but maybe you could find one that's like a short minute video or 6-minute video, 12-minute video. You could use that and incorporate that into your content that you're creating for this particular discussion or assignment. So it's kind of nice because you can have your own way that you want to introduce something. You could introduce something through Vimeo. I think you can also do the same thing where you search YouTube that you could load into your course for creating an assignment. And then for discussions, you would want to allow threaded replies. You can select things like the users have to post their answer first before they see anybody else's answer. You can allow people to like each other's posts. Again, you give your points to it. And set up a due date. And it's 11:59 when it starts. And when it closes. And save it, or save and publish it. So if we go back to our first module of the week, there's other things that you could do to create your module. You could add in the session date that corresponds to the class, and when you're teaching it, you could do an overview module, or you could delete that if that's too many pages. This is really good for online courses because it's very intuitive. It kind of starts and finishes really well. You could upload your lecture or presentation notes. I don't have any video that I've uploaded at this point. Now, one thing about Valerie, we need to change this. One thing about these templates is there are these preloaded videos in them that are sort of humorous and interesting. We should probably take those out, unless faculty members love them. But you could add any sort of content up here that is your own lecture video. Or you could, again, scan for YouTube and put a 10-minute video that relates to the class that you're taking, and if you can find those types of things. Or you can actually also do things like insert a link or a YouTube video that you found before that you want to just directly paste into this particular lecture for the first week.
It's normally faster.
Linking to another video is faster. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm just saying the page will upload faster.
Okay. All right. So other things that I wanted to define is that sometimes these items on the left-hand side of the navigation of your class are grayed out. The way that the templates are going to be set up is that you should be able to see all of these items as you see them right now. You can, in fact, in a class, you could edit that in the settings by going to navigation. And maybe you want a different order of the material that's in your left side column. Or you want to add something to it, like you want to add pages or something else that the students can immediately see when they log into the class and see this left side column. So they can be moved around. They can also be taken out so that they're hidden and you won't see them. And then you need to save those changes that you just made. But what you'll see when you get your template classes in your course that's set up for the fall, which will be in the next few days, like I said, you'll see these items showing, and you can edit them by going back into settings and moving things around. Other things on the navigation bar is in your account, you can set up your profile here. You can specify your notifications. And students actually, faculty will need to tell the students to set up their notifications. Notifications have to do with what the student can actually see and how frequently they get a notification of something that's happened in the course. If you look at the top here, you'll see something that says notify me right away, send a daily summary, send a weekly, or do not send me anything. And they relate to these items that you see that are green or checked, and these different aspects of the class. So for instance, if something has a due date, in this case I've got it set up to give me a daily summary, but maybe I want it to notify me right away if something just has been assigned with a due date. As a faculty member, you can send announcements to your students inside of Canvas, but the announcements will stay in Canvas unless students check that they want a notice to go to their email, which is what this is right here. If I wanted it to be daily or immediately, I would select that. You can also put in an alternate email, like your personal email or other things that you might want to get notifications on. But if you don't tell the students to set up their notifications, and I think it defaults, I don't remember, I think it defaults to no notification. So that means students won't get an email when you send out an announcement. And if you notice, there's no save button here, so students can go through and just update these, and you can as well as a faculty member. Okay, your dashboard. When you click on that, it's going to show you all the different courses that you've had that you've taught before, and this is called a course card. You can click on that and it will get you into the home page or what you've set as the home page for a particular course. Other navigations or other things that you can see from the left side is you can see like a calendar. So I'm in my summer course, and on the calendar it will show you different assignments and information about them. In this case, the things that you see that are sort of have the lines through them are things that have passed, quizzes and due dates that have passed. Dr. Jahan, do you want to talk about inboxes and mail and stuff like that? Do you want me to stop sharing my screen and you want to talk about inbox, or do you want me to do that?
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
No, I think you're doing a great job.
So in your inbox, which by the way, I have not maximized the use of this page at all, but in this page, you may get an email, and it'll say that a student has sent you a message. And so you can click on the message, and you can see what it is the student's trying to communicate to you, and you can actually send a message back. But let's say that you want to send a message within Canvas to all of the students. You click on this upper right-hand little character for writing something. You can select the course that you want the message to go to. So that I'll select my competitive marketing course. You can ask or suggest, who does this need to go to? This needs to go to everything, or does it need to go to students? All students or individual students? And I can put in a subject matter that's like signature, assignment, update. And then I can click here to send an individual message to each recipient. And then I can say, dear students, or whatever it is, be sure to check the new due date. I can attach something to it. I think I could even link. Is that what that is?
No, this is audio.
I could do an audio. They could hear my voice. And then I don't want to send this to my class, but I could click send, and then the announcement will go to whoever I suggested it to go to. The help button is really good to know about. And if you have a problem with Canvas, Valerie's right here, and she answers very quickly. So you would submit a help desk ticket, and it takes you out of Canvas into the screen where you can put the information in. And at some point, I think it asks you what this applies to, and you might want to tell them that it applies to, where's Max, Valerie? Do you remember that? Is it here?
I think it should be request type.
Request type, yeah. So then you would tell them that it's for Max. And you can do the other things and then submit your message or your request. Another really important thing to know about is the whole community of Canvas literature. Like, for instance, let's say I actually don't want to go here. I want to go outside of Canvas to do that. But let's say that you have created a quiz and one student writes to you and says, I ran out of time because my kitchen flooded and I couldn't take the quiz and complete it. Can you reset my quiz? So one of the things you can do is you can just go to the Canvas community, and you can actually, in your browser, you can select a question, write a question, and the Canvas community has all this documentation for how to do something. So how do I reset a quiz in Canvas? So you can find this, click on it, and it's really great. I'm probably telling some of you things you already know, so please forgive me for maybe overkill on this, but you can read what it is that other people have suggested. In some cases, you can find links to the actual, where is it? That's not it. You can find the actual Canvas document that tells you how to reset a quiz. Maybe this is it. No, this is not. Anyway, have fun navigating, and you'll see that something actually comes up. If you navigate around, that'll show you like it'll show you things like first click on this box, then go to this screen. It'll tell you how to navigate through whatever it is that you're trying to navigate. And I should have set that up ahead of time. I'm not doing this very well, but sorry. Well, it's not showing what I wanted to show, but when I was resetting a quiz, I went to the Canvas community, I typed in, I got to the guides, and maybe we can put that again in the next video where I selected it ahead of time to show you how to find different ways to find an actual guide with screenshots that shows you how to do something in Canvas. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Oh, we're at 6:37. We could bore them for another 20 minutes. let's see. How about minimum course setup? So in the fall, the trimester is about 3 weeks away. So one of the issues that Dr. Tao, the provost, and other people have talked about is, what does my course need to have that should be set up a week before the actual trimester starts? So we kind of already went through some of that, where we said you should have your home page set up. So I can, for whatever page I see when the students log in, or what I want the students to see, I can choose that as a home page. I pre-fill it with like a welcome. So I think one of the minimum things that IT would like you to do is to at least have your home page set up. The other thing that they would like you to do is the instructor information that I showed you, where you have a picture and your bio and contact information. Then students could at least talk to you and ask you questions about, looks like I don't have my phone number in here. That's kind of odd. Why is that not in here? I need to fix that. And the other thing that would be probably a minimum setup is, what's your syllabus? If you have a, even just want to upload a copy, a soft copy of your syllabus, the textbook material that the student would need to have. I think that's probably a minimum setup the week before the trimester starts. But as you get closer to your course, you would want to fill more of this information in, your actual syllabus, the textbook, other things like how you feel about late assignments. And then for your class, if it's a weekend class, you would probably want to have at least the first week and the first module of information loaded 1 week before the class starts, so that Canvas is pre-filled with information about what students will need to do to get started. I've covered everything I want to cover. I guess we could let people go home and have dinner. Anybody have any questions?
One question I have is, are the home pages are going to be created within few days, if I heard you correctly?
Anybody confused as heck about anything that I've done? That's going to be on the recording. Well, Don, you want to add anything? You want to share your screen? And
I think we covered, I think there are a couple of things that we're planning to cover next time, right, regarding grading.
yeah, we're going to go into the grade book later in this week on Thursday. And if we have time, we're going to talk about things like using Zoom or annotation.
Yeah, there are a couple of things we can sort of talk about. Especially for online classes, I think it's important to be able to, when you prepare the slides, you want to go over it again, be able to annotate it and draw something, or use, Zoom, you basically have a whiteboard as well.
Okay.
When you share a screen, you have the whiteboard, and then the whiteboard, you can just draw on it as if it's a regular whiteboard.
Well, we'll do that Thursday. Yeah, that sounds good. Right. Well, it's 6:41, so if there are no other questions or comments, I appreciate you listening to me as I went through this today. Thanks for your time, everyone. We've recorded this session, so I will send out the link for it, which you can refer to later. And I wish you best of luck for your courses in the fall and going forward. And please email me if you have any feedback or questions.
Thank you, Patty. This is great.
Thank you, Dr. Wiggins.